Hey out there, littles, middles, and bigs. I'm back. Kind of took a little breather there for a minute. Had a lot going on. My birthday, some other things, Christmas shopping. Wanted to do something a little different, and to prove my littleness because I've been kind of ambiguous about it. Got my rears, Little Monsters, version 3, size small, because I'm skinny. And barely anything fits me. So I want to do something a little different. I wanted to share something from my life that I think is probably pretty relatable, at least to people of a certain age range. It's a little excerpt from something I wrote. The purpose behind it was to kind of flesh out everything for me so that I could write something that would potentially help other people, vanilla people, to deal with discovering this about a loved one. Still working on that piece, or at least I never really finished that piece. But I did write this big long backstory about myself. A lot of people have had a similar experience to this part that I'm going to read. So I thought it would be fun to share. It kind of picks up in a weird spot, so bear with me. I carried on with my life, not even consciously aware of it, except for the occasional times a diaper was right there to be seen. But my response was to repress it. No one will ever be okay with this. I may not be the only one, but no one will ever accept this about me. Many more years went by, and thumbing through a magazine, I saw a picture of a pack of adult diapers. Now, the article was How to Get a Coworker Fired. Rude, but it was too late. Those feelings had resurfaced, and this time it occurred to me. I had money. I had a car. I could just go buy some. This wasn't without risks, though. What if the people at the store freaked out and refused to sell them to me? Or worse, called the police to have me arrested as a pervert? We are talking about rural Indiana. What if someone who knew me saw me? I lived with one of my friends and his dad. What if they found them? There would be no way to deny that they were mine. But I couldn't fight it anymore. I needed to feel a diaper against my body. So I did it. Shaking, nervous, and sweating buckets, I went into the drugstore. I waited for the aisle with the adult diapers to be vacant. Quickly eyed the sizes, grabbed a pack that said Depend, and bolted for the register. Waiting for a weird look or questions, ready with a baloney story about buying them for a grandparent, the clerk simply rang them up and asked, "Want these in a bag?" Mortified, I was barely able to nod my head and force my voice to croak out a timid yes. They were in the bag, and I was out the door. I had to force myself to walk at a normal pace, partly from fear of calling attention to myself, partly because, despite the excitement that was building, I had been conditioned that this was wrong. So I felt like I had just committed a crime, and I had to get the hell out of there. All the way home, I kept glancing at the bag on the passenger seat. Slowly, it occurred to me, what if I get pulled over? Not a far-fetched idea around these parts. Pulling up to the house, my friend's dad was at work, and my friend was in his room with his girlfriend. I went straight to the rehearsal studio that doubled as my bedroom, busted them out, and What the hell are these? Looking at the front of the pack. Protective underwear? These aren't diapers. I just rode an emotional roller coaster for over an hour to come home with the wrong thing. Just my luck. At that point, though, it was better than nothing. It felt good. They were a little loose, even though the size chart said they should fit me. At least I knew for next time. I don't know how long it was until the next time, and I don't remember if I got it right the very next time. At some point, though, I figured out that none of the packages said diapers. They were called fitted briefs. I don't remember exactly when and where I was when I got my first pack of real diapers, but I remember how it felt. It was the same feeling I had all those years ago, and fear. This time, it wasn't so much the fear of anyone finding out about it. It was the fear of how much I enjoyed it. The fear of the intense rush I felt just thinking about it. I had passed the point of no return. I was committed to the idea of wearing diapers. Nervously, I pulled apart the perforated top, and there they were. Reaching down, feeling the smooth, soft plastic, I was instantly engulfed by a wave of euphoria. My heart was beating out of my chest. My ears were ringing, my stomach fluttering in anticipation. The tunnel vision of the moment so consumed me that time stood still. The world around me was evaporated instantly. All that was real was me and the diaper I had just pulled away from the pack. I ran my hand over it. Oh, it was everything I remembered, and these were mine. They weren't meant for anyone else. I didn't steal them. I bought them with my own hard-earned money. My breathing became labored, as if someone was sitting on my chest. Like a fish out of water, I was gasping for air. I opened it, spread it out, and laid back onto it. The soft, comforting feeling of the padding caressing me as I pulled it up and over myself. The plastic pressed against my skin as I carefully taped it into place. There are no words to adequately describe how I felt, but it was like I was finally home. Like everything that came before that moment was a bad dream. At the core of my being, I was alive like I had never been before. Feeling everything that the diaper was, touching every part of where a diaper goes. I melted into it. There was no going back. I didn't want to live without that feeling ever again. I think that, a lot of us that were coming into this before the internet and just as the internet was, becoming a real thing, before boutique diapers like Rears and ABU and even Bambino, because we're talking, this is, that story is from around 2002. So, it's like Bambino may have existed at that point, but, it wasn't a big thing. I'm pretty sure ABU and Rears did not really even exist back then. The generic store brand diapers were still plastic backed. That's been a long time that's been gone, which kind of sucks because some of them were actually pretty good. The Walgreens generic brand actually they were pretty good. I liked them. In fact, the only ones that weren't good were the Dollar General. Walmart, their plastic backed ones were pretty good. Walgreens, CVS, all of them were actually were pretty good. And they weren't very expensive. Kind of miss them. But now, it's just get online and order them, and you don't have to deal with any of what I was just talking about. Well, I guess that's not true necessarily if you live with other people or, you know, whatever. But, you know, it's not like the old days of having to, you know, being a 130-pound, 22-year-old going into the, you know, local drugstore and buying diapers for yourself. It was a completely different experience. So I know some of the older, you know, people around my age and older can relate that this is definitely a unique experience. It's kind of like a trial by fire thing, though. You know, it was you had to get to a certain level of acceptance. You know, we didn't have as much content telling us that it was okay. You know, we didn't have, you know, all these different websites that we have now telling us that, you know, this is okay. You know, you're, you know, this is, you know, you're not less of a human being for this. It really was kind of like, you know, you had to do the work yourself to get to a level of acceptance. And, you know, that's, I think, the really cool thing about where we are now as a community with the online stuff and like CapCon, which I've been to 3 times, TeddyCon that I've never been to, West Coast Jungle Gym I've never been to, but it's, you know, those things exist, and that's kind of the cool thing about it is, you know, you don't have to work so hard at accepting yourself. We have a new era, basically, where we're not, you know, back in the old days, you know, any given individual, until they found some kind of media, we felt completely alone. You know, back in the old days, we thought we were literally the only one. You know, like each individual person was like, I'm the only person that feels this way. Because it wasn't something that you could go and search on the internet, you know. There was no internet. And unless you had access to certain types of adult literature, there was no way to find out that you weren't the only one. So all you like youngsters out there, take time to appreciate it. Appreciate the community. Appreciate the camaraderie. Understand what I'm saying, I guess, and you know, really hear this from somebody that did not have this in their young adulthood, and you know, we had to do everything the hard way. I know everybody, it's such an old person thing to say, but even though I'm not really that old, I'm only 41, but Um, the internet wasn't a big thing, like in every household and on phones, like now I can pull out my phone and, you know, go to any website I want to, you know. Not in those days, man. Those days you had to use the family computer and you had to like learn some hacker stuff to like hide erase your foot tracks, it was a completely different experience. And I really do um, appreciate and feel grateful for all the wonderful stuff that's out there now. Um, like the podcasts, man. Oh, Love and Brief, a great one. If you've never listened to that, go and do it. Uh, the Usual Bet. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, are those girls funny? Oh, are they hilarious? They like so ridiculous, but hilarious at the same time. Um, the Big Little podcast, which I don't think they're even doing anymore, but um, go back and listen to it. Listen to the whole series. I did. Um, I honestly just recently um, got into going back and listening to these podcasts, uh, just binging on them just to listen and experience it. Well, I think I've rambled on long enough, and need to get ready for work. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm doing this for some reason. uh, well, until next time, stay diapered.